It's time for my mock draft 2.0. The NBA regular season has officially concluded, and as we get to the NBA playoffs beginning this weekend, I wanted to do my second mock draft. The first one was prior to March Madness. Now we're doing one after the regular season as we have the standings somewhat finalized. We'll have drawings to break tiebreakers next week. But we have the lottery. We have 15 through 30. Let's do a full 30-round mock draft or 30-pick mock draft. And I do want to make note, in this mock draft, we're doing something a little bit different since we don't know picks 1 through 14 because there will be a lottery on May 12th. We actually went to Tankathon and we simmed the lottery just one time to see what would happen. And this is what actually occurred inside the top 8. Now, there was no movement from 9 to 14, but there was changes in the top 8. The Pelicans actually won the number 1 pick, which isn't the craziest thing because, well, they're slated at number 4. The Spurs actually jumped up from 8 to 4. Wizards and Hornets stayed at 2-3. The Jazz were the ones that took a massive hit on this one. They go from 1 to pick 4. The Sixers slide down a spot. The Nets slide down a spot. And the Raptors slide down a spot. But that is the movement in this lottery that we ended up seeing. And before we get to the picks in that mock draft with the updated lottery, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are less than 200 subscribers away from 406,000. Help us out. We'll be live for the NFL draft in a week. We'll be live for the NBA draft and NBA free agency. We cover every big event here at Chat Sports. All right, since the Pelicans won the lottery, they'll be picking number 1, and we are giving them, of course, Cooper Flagg. He is not officially declared for the NBA draft at this point, but it is widely expected, and whoever wins the lottery will be picking him number 1 overall. They may look to trade Zion this year. Maybe that changes if they get Flagg. If not, I kind of like a Zion, Flagg, Yves Missi front court there with whoever they want to put in the back court, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, I don't know. But Flagg is going to be the number 1 pick. He's got all the tools. He is going to be number 1. The Wizards at number 2, although point guard isn't their biggest need, they need front court help alongside Alex Sarr and perimeter help on the wings. Dylan Harper's just too good to pass up here. I think you move Bub Carrington off ball to be number 2. You start Dylan Harper next to Bub. You move Jordan Poole to be your 6th man, or the Wizards look to trade him. Harper, a combo point guard that can score at all 3 levels, got great size, physicality, quick first step, would immediately start to get things moving in the right direction for the Washington Wizards. The Charlotte Hornets kept the 3rd pick, and I know a lot of people are going to project Ace Bailey in this situation. I will continue to pound the table that I believe Charlotte should go with Baylor guard VJ Edgecombe if he's on the board for them, because to me, he fits perfectly next to LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller, assuming you keep LaMelo Ball moving forward. Ace Bailey could play the 3 or 4 next to Brandon Miller, but I don't know if those two are going to work well together because to me, they actually have similar play styles. I'd like to go with the two-way athletic guard from Baylor that shot 39% from 3 in Big 12 play this year. I think Edgecombe fits perfectly to create a 1, 2, and 3 combo for Charlotte. And the Spurs winning the 4th pick in the lottery simulation, they'll go with Ace Bailey, the wing from Rutgers. Bailey, a very solid scorer, a lot of upside for the young man. He did not have the most efficient season at Rutgers as a freshman because of his shot diet, poor IQ, but he also just got tired from having to defend 4s inside for Rutgers when that's not what he should be doing. 6'10", could play the 3, fit perfectly next to that backcourt of Devin Vassell, De'Aaron Fox, and Wembanyama at the 5. Ace Bailey to San Antonio would be quite the fun fit. And I know a lot of people are going to come at me in the comment section saying Ace Bailey should have went number 3 to Charlotte. Most people believe he's the 3rd best player in this class, but I just think VJ Edgecombe's a better fit for Charlotte. But who is the better prospect in your opinion? Is it VJ Edgecombe? Type VJ. If it's Ace Bailey, go with your ABs. At number 5, the Utah Jazz, unfortunately, did not stick in the top 3 in this lottery sim. They still get a very talented player in Tre Johnson, the guard from Texas. Very similar play style to Ace Bailey, just one does it at 6'10", one does it at 6'5", 6'6". Tre Johnson, high release point, averaged a ton of points for the Texas Longhorns the last season. He can flat out score the rock. You get him at the 2, can maybe even play the 3. I don't know if that's the best move for him, but you get him in that backcourt with Isaiah Collier, Keontae George, and you start to see what you can build with your front court of Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen in Utah. The Sixers keep their pick. Remember, it's top 6 protected. If they fall out of the top 6, it goes to Oklahoma City. But to me, I think they should go center, and I think Derek Queen is the top option for me. I battled back and forth on who's the better center in this class between him and Kaman Malawach, but Queen is just such a better offensive player. There's also questions with Malawach's rebounding ability, despite him being 7'2". Queen can score. He can back up Embiid for a year or two before Embiid officially is moved off of. They have a backcourt. They have Maxey and Jared McCain, which is why I think they should go wing or front court, and I think Derek Queen's the best on the board for them at this point. The Brooklyn Nets have the number 7th pick here. They need help at every single position, but I have them going with the true freshman guard from Oklahoma, Jeremiah Fears. I tossed and turned on whether to put Kasparas Yakachonis here for Brooklyn or Fears, but the 18-year-old second youngest player in this draft class, only behind Cooper Flagg, averaged 17 a game for the Sooners this past year. He's got a wicked first step, can finish inside the free throw line with a floater or left hand, right hand, if he just improves that jump shot, which I think he will because he shot 85% from the line this year, which is an indication that he can shoot, in my opinion. This is going to be a home run point guard in the NBA, and the Brooklyn Nets scoop him up. The Raptors pick number 8 here. I have them going with a center. I think it's pretty much guaranteed if Toronto stays in the top 10. I think they're going one of the 2 big men, whether it be Derek Queen or Malawach. Now, obviously, if they jump into the top 4, there will be different conversations, but assuming they stay around their pick range of 7, 8, 9, I think Malawach or Queen is a great fit. Jakob Poeltl's been solid, but they need to find his replacement or a backup center long term. You traded for Brandon Ingram, so you're going to have Ingram. You've got Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Grady Dick. So I think grabbing a front court piece, Malawach, the 7'2 center, who would be an elite rim protector and lob threat in the NBA, if he could just improve his physicality, his ability to read balls off the rim to grab boards, because that was a negative of him at Duke, he's going to be a good pro. At number 9, I have the Houston Rockets going with Kon Knueppel, the guard/forward from Duke. They have a backcourt. They have Amen Thompson. They have Reed Shepard, the 3rd overall pick from last year. They have Jalen Green. They have Dylan Brooks there and Alfred Şengün in the front court with Jabari Smith, but I think Dylan Brooks isn't going to be there past his current contract. Knueppel fits into that 2-3 range for the Rockets, is a great connecting piece, sniper from beyond the arc, plays good defense, can play make, plays well off 2 feet. I think Knueppel is just going to be a solid pro no matter what scheme you put him in, and I think he fits perfectly in Houston, who have the 9th pick right now. Maybe they move up, but if they stick at 9, I think they will be hoping Kon Knueppel slips to them. At number 10, the Portland Trailblazers, I have them going with forward Colin Murray-Boyles from South Carolina. They have a lot of guards already on that group with Simon, Scoot Henderson, Shaedon Sharpe, Denny Advia. I don't think they want to go guard again, but they could use front court help, probably looking to move off of Jeremy Grant sometime soon. They have Donovan Clingan and DeAndre Ayton inside. Murray-Boyles, one of the best athletic wings/defenders in this draft class, fits in perfectly to that Portland Trailblazers roster. A likely lottery pick, I think, is a perfect fit for the Trailblazers at number 10. And I was shocked to see him still on the board here, but Kasparas Yakachonis, a top 5 guy in this class in most big boards, and I will say as well, he is top 5 in this class on my big board. I just didn't see a really good fit for him once you got outside of the top 5 or 6 in this first round lottery where the simulation landed where it went. And the Miami Heat would be exuberant if he was there at 11. They need a backcourt partner for Tyler Hero. Yakachonis at 6'6" is a playmaker, a relatively good shooter, and I think will only be better offensively in the NBA due to that NBA spacing he did not have for the Fighting Illini this past year. If the Heat keep their lottery pick at number 11, Yakachonis on the board, Heat fans would be through the roof. One of my favorite prospects in this draft class is Rasheer Fleming, the forward from St. Joe's. I have him going number 12 to the Mavericks, a fringe lottery guy who I think ultimately does go in the lottery once he tests at the NBA Combine. Fleming, 6'9", a rumored 7'4" wingspan, shot 40+% from three at St. Joe's this past year while playing elite defense in the Atlantic 10 and finishing about 50% of his shots, averaging 14 a game. The Dallas Mavericks, for better or for worse, we know they value defense. That's why they traded Luka Doncic, allegedly. Fleming gives them the best of both worlds, Fits well next to Anthony Davis and Derek Lively, potentially in that front court as well. All right, we're going to continue with this mock draft, but we are sponsored by Game Time, the official ticketing partner of Chat Sports and NBA Now. Whether you want to go to a concert or a sporting event, Game Time is the best place to get your tickets, and it's the only place that I trust to get my tickets. Killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and the lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets, as those tickets are running out as the playoffs start this weekend. Last-minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last-minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy show, theaters. They have all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows you the total price of your ticket up front with no surprise fees at checkout. Get a full panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy so you know exactly what your vantage point will be. You will not be bamboozled by a stanchion, a pole being in your way, because that would be absolutely detrimental if you were going to an NBA playoff game. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Chicago Bulls here with the 13th pick. I have them going with the Connecticut forward, Liam McNeely. He has officially entered the portal. I think the Bulls are in a very weird spot. They'd like to go center likely if they stick in the lottery, but with Queen and Malawach off the board, I don't think there's any worthy big men to go here, so they just take my best player available, which is Liam McNeely, a 6'7", 6'8", kind of combo wing guard hybrid, can shoot the lights out of the ball. I think fits well next to Kobe White, Matas Buzelis, and we'll see what the Bulls ultimately do, though, because it's going to be an intriguing offseason for that roster. The last pick of the lottery currently belongs to the Atlanta Hawks via the Sacramento Kings. I have them going with a forward-center hybrid, Asa Newell. So you could argue the Bulls might look at Newell, but he's a little bit undersized, 6'9", 6'10". We've seen that work in the NBA at center, a la Bam Adebayo and some other big men. And with the new small ball era, you never know. But I think he could fit next to Onyeka Okongwu or back him up if they want to go with a smaller lineup with Jalen Johnson or Muhammad Gay sticking at that 3-4 combination when fully healthy. Newell got off to a hot start this past season, but kind of faltered down the stretch. Athletic big man that improved as a shooter, but a little bit undersized for his position. Noah Senge, the first European player to come off my board in this mock draft to the San Antonio Spurs. Why not just create the French All-Stars in San Antonio? Why not? But he does have a good blend of finishing inside, athleticism, and playmaking. The Spurs are going to likely be looking for either backcourt depth to Wembanyama or wing depth. They have some good guards already in their building. I think Senge fits what they're trying to do pretty well. Danny Wolf, the center from Michigan, off the board here to the Orlando Magic with the 16th pick. I just think Orlando, if they can't get a proven guard / three-point shooter with their first-round pick, will likely be going for a center as they are looking for a future center. I don't know if they believe that Wendell Carter, or I'm spacing on the other big man's name. It's absolutely killing me right now. But the Goga Badatsi, thank goodness I remembered it. I don't think they like those guys long term, so I'm going to think they try to find a center of the future. A couple of good ones on the board. I think Danny Wolf, someone who could play, make, and do it all, is the best option. The Timberwolves, no more Mike Conley. I think this is the final year he's on that roster, and I know they have Rob Dillingham waiting in the wings to work next to Anthony Edwards, but Agor Demen, the guard from BYU, 6'9", great playmaker. He improved as a shooter as the season went on and actually shot the ball well in Big 12 tournament play and the NCAA tournament. That might make scouts very happy, and he probably goes off the board earlier than 17, but the way this board fell, he slips to 17th for the Timberwolves, who potentially get their backcourt partner and point guard of the future next to Anthony Edwards, and then they can keep Rob Dillingham in a sixth-man role. Thomas Sorber, the center from Georgetown, ends up going to the Miami Heat. This pick could either be 18, 19, or 20. Miami, Washington, and Brooklyn all will have a drawing next week to determine 18 through 20. The Heat, if they go guard early, which they did here in this mock draft with Yakachonis, will likely be looking for a backup center to Kel'el Ware as Bam Adebayo makes the full transition to the 4/wing. Sorber, a solid rim protector, plays honestly similarly to Kel'el Ware, just less athletic and not as good as a floor spacer, but would be a solid backup big for Miami probably right away. Carter Bryant, the wing from Arizona, heads to the Wizards here at number 19. They took Dylan Harper earlier. I think they take Carter Bryant, who might have the most NBA-ready body in this draft class, can defend 1 through 4. I think he'll be a solid defender in the NBA right away, and he just plays a winning brand of basketball, and I think the Wizards can just use any type of winner in their room. Jace Richardson took a little bit of a tumble in this mock draft, but I just had different fits and different needs here. The Michigan State guard, son of Jace Richardson, heads to the Nets. The Nets in this mock draft ended up taking Jeremiah Fears early on. I think they could look to grab another guard, maybe play those two both together, have one come off the bench. They don't really have a lot going well for them in that backcourt right now. They've got Cam Johnson, they got Nick Claxton, but they need to fill out the roster alongside them. Taking two talented guards, Richardson improved late down the season, averaged about 17, 18 a game in the last 2 months of the year for the Tom Izzo Spartans. Could be a good fit for the Brooklyn Nets. All right, let me know as we get into the final 10 picks of this NBA mock draft. Who is your favorite prospect in the NBA draft? Let me know who your guy is. I like Yakachonis. I love Jeremiah Fears. I love Dylan Harper. Those guys at the top. But I think Rasheer Fleming is my not top 5 favorite prospect. All right, the Utah Jazz at pick number 21 take a European player, Hugo Gonzalez from Spain. The Utah Jazz are looking to fill out that front court in this mock draft. We already got them Tre Johnson, who could play the 2 there. I think they could look for a guy in Gonzalez who can score inside, can play make. I think Gonzalez has a pretty high upside. He'll have to develop, but I do like what he can bring to the table. At number 22, the Atlanta Hawks go Nick Clifford, the guard/forward from Colorado State, a 6'6" guy with a long wingspan, averaged 9 rebounds for the Rams this past year at the college level, can do it all. I think Clifford is going to be a player that most teams want to get their hands on due to his versatility and just ability to play right away. The Hawks, who already took a player earlier in this draft, an Asa Newell in the front court, get a guard/wing in Clifford. The Pacers will desperately probably looking to be draft a center as Miles Turner is a free agent this offseason. I've been going with the French big man, Joan Behringer. I'm not that high on him. I don't think I'll have him in my top 20, 25 big board like you'll see on Tankathon or ESPN. I lean more with some other NBA draft analysts with Behringer where you could take the shot on him, but I just don't see there being that high of an upside compared to his low floor. But with the Pacers needing a center that badly, maybe they do take a swing for the fences and go with the French big man, Joan Behringer. At number 24, the Orlando Magic have a second first-round pick. I have them going with Cam Jones, the guard from Marquette. I'm a little bit higher on him than others. I know he's a little bit undersized, and he was a volume scorer for the Golden Eagles, but the Magic just need scoring from the backcourt. It can't just be Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner. We've seen Cole Anthony have some big games, but Jalen Suggs has been a disappointment offensively. I think Cam Jones could be a 1 or 2 in the NBA. He can handle, he can pass, he can score at all 3 levels. I like Jones's fit to the Orlando Magic. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they don't have any needs. They just don't. So why not take a high upside and best player on my board at this point, which is Ben Seraph, the guard from Israel, the left-hander, can score inside and out. Also a solid playmaker in the pick and roll. Could be a stash for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Brooklyn Nets pick number 26 and number 27. We'll just reveal both at the same time here. Will Riley, the guard/forward from Illinois, and Janai Broome, the center from Auburn. I think Broome would be an excellent backup to Nick Claxton. Day'Ron Sharpe is a free agent. Will Riley, youth there, but I think there are some upside. A good 6'6" frame. He improved as the season went on. Miles Bird to the Boston Celtics at number 28, a guard/forward from San Diego State. I think the Celtics could use a guard/wing defender off their bench. Miles Bird does that. You get Bird as an understudy to Drew Holiday and Derek White. This is a player that would be able to develop very nicely in their system. Bird improved as a scorer this past year, but he is known for his defensive prowess. At number 29, the guard from France, Nolan Traore, heads to Phoenix. They just need a guard next to Devin Booker, assuming he stays. They'll likely trade Kevin Durant this offseason. Traore slips down my board. A lot of upside, projected top 10 pick coming into the year, but did not have the best season for San Quentin overseas. I think is a good fit for Phoenix at number 29. And the final pick of this mock draft, Adu Thiero, the forward from Arkansas, a great defender, improved as a scorer this year at Arkansas, averaged 15-plus points per game for John Calipari. Could have been a fringe first-rounder last year, came back, now declared for the draft. I think he would be a great wing to back up Kawhi Leonard. I think there's some similarities there defensively between Thiero and Kawhi, but he will need to improve as an offensive player, but lands perfectly here with the Clippers pick via the Oklahoma City Thunder. All right, pass or fail. How did I do in this mock draft? All 30 picks before the playoffs begin, after the regular season. There will be some pick movement, obviously, with the lottery and with the play-in finalizing. Grade the mock draft A, B, C, D, or F. And make sure you are following me over on Twitter. You can hit me up and give me your thoughts on this mock draft over there. But give me a follow because I'm talking NBA draft rumors, news, and everything in between from now until the late June draft. So go give me a follow.